Guys, welcome back to systemcontroltech.net. And tonight we're just going to look at a little something that we run into recently on our network, and I wanted to pull it up and talk with you about it just in case you run into it on yours. And the problem that we were having was we were trying to pull in a new device, BACnet IP, and I'm just going to drill down and show this to you here on the network tree. I've actually got a few places pulled up. I've got our full network pulled up, and then I'm logged in directly into a couple of engines just so we can see some things. And that's what I wanted to do in this video. And I know that most of you guys have probably seen some of this stuff also. And if you haven't, this is something that I guarantee that you're going to run into at some point in your career. So you might hopefully will remember this. So be sure to subscribe to my channel, like and share it. Now, for some of you guys that have joined me on some of the live chats, I have wanted to do some things live to where we could actually look at our system. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that yet, simply because of the way that our security protocols are. We have got some pretty tight security on our system, and the way that our security protocols are, it's not necessarily going to let me to do that. Anytime I try to set it up to where I can do that, I get blocked. So I don't think I'm necessarily going to be able to do that. But for the most part, we're still going to try to do some live chats, and if I can ever figure out a good schedule. But for now, this is something I wanted to do for you guys, so here we are. And this is the device that we have now. It doesn't look very pretty right now, but it is something that is going to be pretty once we get the graphics and stuff done. I know that the guys that are doing this, that were over this project, that is the one thing that they are still working on, is the graphics. Now, the problem that we had was getting this discoverable through BACnet IP. And usually BACnet IP is not very hard to get things to populate into your system, but there's always a few of those exceptions. And this is one of those exceptions that we ran into. And I wanted to show you a little bit about what we see and how you can solve the problem if necessary. But this is going to be one where you're going to need to work with your IT folks. And we were, a big shout out to our folks in IT. They really helped us out with this. And what I have here, I am browsed directly into the engine where this device is at. And what I've got pulled up here, and this is something that I wanted to go ahead and do beforehand, was I wanted to do a discovery. And that way I can do the BACnet IP discovery. And typically with BACnet IP, for those of you guys that are not familiar with it, you can usually discover anything on your network through BACnet IP. If it is a BACnet capable device, and if it is connected to your network, most of the time you will not have any issues pulling that controller into your system. But again, we do have exceptions to all of those rules. And here is a perfect example of it. When I run BACnet discovery on, or from this device, I should say, I only get 2 devices. Okay, you can see it here, 2 devices. The first one is that device that we pulled in that I showed you right here on screen. This is the device, and you can see it pulled in. And another device that I get is something that is located in another building. But I want you to pay close attention that I only have 2 devices that are discoverable. And I'm sure that some of you guys have run into this before. Now we're going to go to a different engine. And when I go to a different engine, I see multiple other devices, a bunch of other devices, just all kinds of stuff. And you can see it just keeps going and going and going. And you can see that the total devices that it discovered was 194 devices, while this device, this network engine, only discovered 2 devices. this video. I know this is not typically how what I usually come up with on this. You know, there's some in-depth stuff, but if you're in there trying to get a device to communicate BACnet IP, you're scratching your head. You cannot, for the life of you, figure it out. You might try that step. Change the IP address on that network engine and put it within the same range, or that third-party device. You know, you may try changing that third-party device to a network or an IP address within the same range of your engine. And you guys know how this stuff is as far as your network engines and things like that, as far as how your IP addresses, you know, and it can get confusing. And that's basically what we have here. And again, guys, this is just something that I wanted to talk about for a few minutes, something that we ran into, and I'm sure that many of you guys have run into it as well. If you have, let me know down in the comments below. Guys, anyways, simple solution. That's just a workaround. I'm not going to say it solved the problem. I don't know the in-depth network possibilities that it could have been, but either way, that's how we solved it. But guys, thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel. Leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and guys, we will see you next time.